How's everybody doing? I literally just walked in the door and trying to put on some earrings so I can look halfway presentable. How are you guys doing? Happy Thursday, Gems. I got the day right today. Yesterday I kept saying Thursday, and it was Wednesday, so happy Thursday. Um, I want to talk about this topic today. Get my other device so I can look at the chat. I hope you guys are doing awesome. I'm doing good myself. It was a busy day. I see I got comments from Edward and Sure Shannon show. How are you guys doing? Welcome. I hope you guys are doing awesome. So it's Thursday and we have a topic. The topic we're gonna talk about today. Hi, Prime Time. How are you doing? Welcome. I got a good topic for you guys on today. And I'm really excited to cover it because I think it's something important for us to talk about. And it's a major issue and problem. So let's talk about this. Has technology has changed the way people socialize? Hi, Miss Nexie. How are you doing? Technology has changed the way people socialize, and we've been seeing this over the years from the 80s when technology started coming out. Every time technology happens, I think that technology is meant to improve people's quality of life, and I'm starting to see more and more the more social media is involved is the less social people become. I think social media has made people become strange. Have you seen how the younger people are impacted and other people like that are very impacted by social media and all of the social media things? So I think that it's crazy that there's social media is making people not be sociable. Why do people get on social media and use it to not be supportive of the important conversations? At least that's what I use my social media for. I use my social media to impact people, to talk about things, to learn. Primetime says anti-social media. Yeah, that's what it really should be called, not social media at all. And I think that it's very interesting how you can have many generations and each generation views social media in a different way. Like in my parents and my aunt's age, they look at social media as like just to Facebook and other things to just send pictures and things like that, but they don't use it to do socialization. They feel like for important conversations there needs to be a phone call, there needs to be you showing up in person. And I just think it's interesting how every generation views social media. And in my generation, because I'm a Gen X, and I think that social media has its good, and I think social media has its bad, but I'm not a person that I depend on social media for everything. Um, so that's one of the things that I just continue to be positive and all of that. Hi, Misty. How are you doing? Welcome. Appreciate you being here. So that's one of the things that I wanted to talk about today about social media and just technology in general, and think about how we use it. And I wasn't really thinking about the impact of technology until I look at like my nieces and my nephews and getting on the phone, and they mimic us from a little age. My great nephew is only a little over 1 years old, and he already knows how to take that phone and hold it up to do a selfie. He doesn't know how to press the button or take the picture, but he knows already that phone is meant to take a picture of yourself, and he's very conscious of that. And I think that that's very interesting. And those who are older struggle to do the same thing that already a 1 year old. I think this, I don't even know what they call the generation, like my great nephew who's only one. I don't know what they are, but I know my generation, a Gen X, a technology. When I was growing up, technology was just coming out, really. You know, we were just getting out of typewriters. Yes, I'm that kind of old. We were just getting out of typewriters, and we were just getting into the computers and learning how to type on the keyboards and things like that for increased technology and the benefits of technology. And I was just like, kind of, I don't know if I like this, but then the more that I got used to it, I saw the benefit of upgrading technology. And I think that technology can be a blessing and it can be a curse, because technology is good, but there are a lot of bad things that technology can do. It opens up a lot of doors that needs to stay closed. Some doors need to be closed, stay closed, because what I've seen people do with technology, um, go and air all of their relatives, all their families' dirty laundry. Hmm. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't really like that so much. Misty said I'm subscribed and like the channel. Thank you so much, Misty. Hope you're having a great day. Hi, Metro. How are you doing? Welcome. Happy Thursday. I have seen people get on social media and blast their family. You know, talk about husband or wife, boyfriend or girlfriend, siblings, their parents. It's just super strange. Hey, Nate, how are you doing? Welcome. The impact of technology is just wow, with how people use it, you know. I think everything in life, you can use it in a good way and you can use it in a bad way. And I see a lot of people use technology in a bad way. I really think it has to do with the mindset. It has to do with your mental health. Some people don't deserve to have a social media because they're not responsible with their social media. They're very disrespectful, and that includes all the people who are trolls and just manipulators and bring drama and like to hurt other people. Some people that they bring, I think technology brings out more of what you are. Yes, it has advanced to the next level, but with those advancements, I believe that you can go either way. You can use those advancements to your benefit, or you can ruin your life. You can use that not social media. You can use that technology to look at bad things. You can look at it and it can harm your children or children that are in your life. You have to be very careful with how you use technology. And some people, they have no business getting on the internet because they're not responsible with the technology. But I think that, you know, and going back to the topic, that technology has changed the way that people socialize, because I even see the difference between like me and my nephew, and we're about 15 years apart, me and my nephew, and I see how different we are. My nephew is on his phone all day. You know, he's either texting, he's doing selfies, he's FaceTime, he's this, he's on social media. And for me, I only get on my phone just to check if I got a message and I'm back off. Or if I want to film a video or something, and then I'm back off, but I'm not on my phone all day, you know. My nephew's constantly on the social media. It's an addiction, I think, for some people. Social media is an addiction, and not in a good way. Technology and social media have their flaws. Yes, it does, Metro. Hey, Realist. How are you doing? Welcome. Happy Thursday. Hope you're doing awesome. I think that social media, it depends on the person. Technology depends on the person. It's like you have an older person and they get this phone or they get a tablet or a computer or whatever it is, and they become so overwhelmed by the new technology that they feel like, I can't do this. This is too much, and they get so frustrated because they didn't grow up in the age of things like we did. And I just I feel really bad for how technology is for people who are older, like my parents' age, my auntie's age, cousins' age. It's something. It's something for them. It can be very difficult. Oh yeah, that's how you think prime time. Hi, Lara. How are you doing? Welcome, welcome. So, what do you guys think about technology and social media, and how do you think people are using it? Do you think people are using social media to be social, or do you think people are using social media to, I think some people use social media just as a way of making themselves seem something that they're not, like I'll make myself into this whole nother character. This is not who I am, but I'll go on social media and act like I'm big and bad, or I'll act like I have all of these things, or my life is so fantastic and great. And that's not the reality. Hey, Sirius, how are you doing? Welcome. Miss Nexie says social media to me was supposed to bring me closer to my family and friends in other countries, but now I'm afraid to even use uh, laugh out loud. It's gotten crazy, yeah. I'm very selective when it comes to certain social media sites. There's some social media sites that I only will do for private, as in the people that I know in my day-to-day life. And then I have the social media that I use for content creation. And then there's social media that I use that is just informative. I go to those social media sites or content creators or podcasts to gain information, to learn. So it's educational for me. So I think it really depends on the person. But for me, what I like about social media is that there's all different sorts of what do they call them? Sectors. And I didn't realize that until being a content creator, that there's sectors on social media. And you can go down a really dark hole. You can really ruin your life. You can get doxxed. You can get so much things. You could lose your job. I've seen people break up in a marriage from social media because of what they put on social media, or you really do have to be careful. And these days, a lot of people don't understand what you put on your social media. Your job looks at your social media. So, you got to be aware of those things too. There's some jobs now that you can't get the job if what you call it, if they look at your social media and they see you're putting all kinds of crazy stuff on there. You got to be aware. I'm doing great, Lara. Social ain't what it used to be necessarily. Exactly. That's how I feel too. Realist. I feel like social media is, what's the word I'm looking for? I think social media is more of entertainment. It's a place that people go to be entertained, and that's not why I go to social media. I think it's because of the mindset, and it depends on the person. I go to social media to learn. to grow, to gain knowledge, to become a better person. And I think that's because it's a reflection of what I'm doing in my day to day life. And just like everything, you become more of what you are. Yes, I'm doing amazing too, Sirius. You can lose your life up in here. Uh, Miss Nexie, you've been listening to DMX. Metro says the usage of social media is to share a story and get inspired by it. Should, Metro, it should, but it's really turning aside from that. Um, Metro says, I hardly make phone calls because we have instant messengers to keep in touch with our friends and families. Yes, even that, like these days, like when's the last time you had phone calls? Like I have certain people, I have phone calls with them and I talk to them, but for the most part, technology has changed even that. Just like Metro said, I didn't even think about that because I get so used to IMing people and texting or doing how like you can do messages, and send to people but not talk to them. Hey, Edward, how are you doing? Everything has really changed. And I really do feel sorry for the older people because I think that the older people get left behind. Like I was saying, like my mom's age, my aunt's age, and so on and so forth. The older people, when it comes to technology, if we struggle to learn how to do things sometimes, imagine them. And I even think about how it is the workplace, and as you get older, with how things change. Because people say you're old as dirt, but it is what it is. When I was a teenager and when I got my first job, I just filled out a paper application, and the manager looked at the application and just like that, and I got a job. It wasn't they didn't do a background check. They didn't do all this other stuff. It was more so like they went off of a vibe. Like if they liked your personality and things like that, you seemed nice, they would just, it was more of the honor code back in the day when it came to jobs. But now I do understand why there's more strict regulations on getting jobs and things, because people lie, people do not have the experience, and people be whole criminals. So they do have to protect themselves. So I do understand that part, but I think it's really they go overboard sometimes. I think employers go overboard sometimes. Like they want to know everything. I understand some things, but check a job's checking your social media and other personal things. Like I feel sometimes they go too far. What you do in your off time, I don't think that should be any of a job's business. For me, I feel like when you have a job, jobs like own you. Does it, do you guys think like that too? I feel like jobs feel like they own you when you work there, and they can literally fire you or you cannot get a job because of your social media, which is very strange to me. And I wanted to say this about the younger crowd, the younger audience, like people who are under 18, or I should say under 21, right? So I'll talk to my under 21 people for a second. Being under 21, everything that you guys have to deal with has to deal with social things. Like it's about social media, it's about hanging out, it's about selfies and doing all of this stuff and hanging out with friends. And you have to be careful about getting caught up into social media, because there's certain things that you need to leave off of the internet. You shouldn't be publishing certain things. Like I've seen some scary stuff, like people like to publish their location, People like to share where they work, where they go to school, and all kinds of things that is very dangerous because, listen, not everybody who goes on social media is wrapped too tight. Some people on social media do not have it together. They're not wrapped too tight. And unfortunately, I have heard of cases where people become unalived because somebody finds out where somebody is, and like they're stalking them, obsessed with them, and you know, end them. That's not what I want for any of you. So be very careful about, when you go places and say you're at a restaurant or the movies or wherever, please do not put your location where you are. It's fine if you share something after you've left, but putting your location, hey, I'm at this place, that's so dangerous. I even have to talk to myself about that because um something happened. It was a close call for me at one time, and I have to be more careful about being live at a place because you don't know what people are looking for. Some people are looking for an opportunity to find out where you are and follow you. Maybe they'll maybe not do something to you at the location that you're at, but maybe they're going to follow you to see where you live. Got to be careful of those things. Metro says you can do calls, text, and FaceTime from the messenger. Oh, okay, Metro. I did not know that part. I know about the FaceTime and I know about the texting, but I did not know about the calls. Hey, Wellness, how are you doing? Welcome. I'm moving slow here. I think it just came back. I think I had just got a phone call. Miss Nexty says, due to my job, I haven't updated any of my social media in a very, very long time. I'm a very private person to begin with, and I'm even more now that I've seen what can happen if you share too much. Yeah. And and you also have to think about the things that you do can impact you later. Okay. I'll tell you something, for example. When I was maybe about 15 years ago, when social media was very, very new, and I used to post all kinds of stuff on my social media, all kinds of stuff. And later on, I had to go and delete that. But just because it's been you deleted it, doesn't mean that imprint isn't there anymore. But you got to be careful because you got to think: do I want what I've said, what I've posted, to haunt me later? Because some things will haunt you later. And what I don't like about social media right now, how people will be on their social media, screaming at the top of their lungs, mad at siblings, relatives, whoever, somebody that they don't even know here on social media. It's like that's something that I really don't understand. A person that you don't know, you allow somebody you don't know to impact you like that. You allow somebody to get that much power over you, to have you on live stream screaming, cussing, sharing all kinds of stuff. And I always say it really becomes a reflection of who you are as a woman or as a man. Um, Metro says, I was just 19 years old when I began YouTube almost 20 years ago, and I had no idea what to expect, and here I am. And it still continues, right, Metro? Yeah. We never have no idea of what we're going to want to do later. Like when I first started social media, I think I came to this Red app in 2007, and that was almost, what is that, 18? I think I was 18 years ago. I came to this app, but I didn't come to this app as a content creator um, at that time. So I didn't come to social media as a content creator at that time. So, you know, it really, it is what it is. So I have learned, I've grown up, I've learned to don't go live on social media if I'm having a bad day, if I'm upset about something, and not letting other people get to me. Thank you so much for the super sticker, Miss Nexie. If I was on the other thing, I would play the Panda song. I don't know if you guys have heard that live that I did. Um, but I'm no longer with StreamYards because StreamYards is forcing me to pay. Everybody has different experiences, but I'm done with StreamYard. So I'm looking into finding another, what you call it, streaming service. So when I find it, we'll get back to doing the clips again. Metro says, what you didn't know about the FaceTime, Marlene, you can also do the same thing on your Android devices. Can you make phone? You can make phone calls. Oh, I don't have Android. Metro. Realist says, all it ever was to me was before I started content was music videos and girl fights. I'm sure Realist. Very greedy. Very, very greedy. Mm-hmm. Yes, Miss Nexie. We owe you the Panda song, Realist. We do. Metro says, I used to on your laptop. I mostly use my phone for everything from the YouTube app. I can understand that part. But this has been a great conversation. I only got like 3 minutes left here, and then I'm gonna head to my other channel because I got another conversation for my podcast channel. But I did want to cover this topic and to say to everybody, think before you post. And also, don't believe everything that you see on social media. You got people who come on social media and they're nothing what they claim to be. Nothing. Okay? So you can believe it if you want to. When people come on social media pretending to be something, and no, and no, and no, and no. No, that's not them at all. So, you got to be mindful. You got to be cognizant of every word that you can think. You got to be aware. You got to pay attention to people's energy and all of that stuff. So yeah. Let's see. I got any more messages? Nope. So we're going to bring this to an end. I got like 1 more minute left. I hope everybody had a great Thursday. Yeah, it's Thursday. I know yesterday I said it was Thursday, but I'm trying to rush the weekend. I'm trying to get to the weekend, guys. Um, Realist says they'll be the complete opposite of what they say they are. Listen, like I've said so many times before, everybody, when you follow Marlene, if you follow me across any of my platform, you're not going to see Marlene has changed because I'm the person that you see on this channel, that you see on the next channel, the next channel, the next channel, the next channel, because that's who I really am. But a lot of people, they never have been the real version of themselves. I think people use social media as an alter ego. That's what I think. They use it as an alter ego. Miss Nexie says, Miss Marlene, I used to follow a content creator that exposed some very private pics of another content creator in one of his lives. I was horrified. Yeah, that's one of the things about doxing. You know, You have to be careful about who you trust and what you share to other people. And even if you may be getting along with people, this is still social media. You know, my dad used to always say, don't share anything that you wouldn't want to be repeated. You wouldn't want anybody else to share. So, yeah. 2007, that was around the time when I was in college. We used to do a lot of ratings instead of likes and dislikes, and it was pretty popular back then. I'm this is how old I am. When I started being on social media, there was a thing. What was it called? There was High Five, and there was another one that was similar. I think the High Five was for the more older people, and then they had this other one. I can't think of it. It was High Five, and it was the other one. When I think about it, I'll put it on my community tab. But there was High Five, and there was that other one, and it was basically like you played music. It was a cool. It was a nice little vibe until people started downloading the music, and then it started with copyright infringement, because all of that stuff was new back in the day. When I first started on this app, you could play any music that you want to, and then we started learning about you can't do that because of policies and copyright infringement, and on it goes. But that's a conversation for another day. And I got to get out of here and do my next live. So thanks, guys, for joining me. I hope this information has been useful to somebody. And think before you post, think before you trust people on social media. And don't get on social media upset and angry because I remember a lot of people aren't wrapped too tight. Okay. All right. I'll see you guys back on tomorrow. See you later.